And up to now, I don't believe that you have to be given something. You have to fight for it. So I fought for my education. I fought for my reading on the street. Because reading a novel takes me away from poverty, from pain, and I'm in that land. In my head, man, Nina Soma, I am there. I'm like, wow, maybe I'm in New York. You know? Even the gangs in Kibera are like, ongea na kizungu, ile kubwa kubwa zako. Right? Jogi, yeah? We have a feeling. I love you, madam. And it's true, you're not lying. You feel it. I cannot go through all this life for Khaenga Odede to be rich, for Khaenga Odede to be famous. I'm like, no way.
Welcome to the Books Cafe, your literature program on KBC English Service. I'm your host, Khaenga O'okwemba. The Books Cafe is a cutting-edge program in the world of literature where we talk to writers and explore contemporary literary issues. And today we have a special program with the author of this wonderful memoir, Find Me Unafraid, Khaenga O'okwemba, the book that was co-authored with his wife, Jessica Posner. It's the story of a young boy who grew up in the slums of Kibera, survived the street life, and he lived to tell the story, like Gabriel Garcia Marquez would say in his memoir, Living to Tell the Tale. Khaenga O'okwemba lived to tell the tale of the lives in Kibera. Khaenga, welcome onto the Books Cafe.
Thank you so much for having me, my brother O'okwemba. Thank you.
Great. Now, you know, when guests come onto this program, the first thing that you want to do is to know something about them. You know, where they were born, the things they remember about their childhood. So let's begin from there. Khaenga O'okwemba, when and where was he born?
Good. So Khaenga has a very complicated life, but people see me as from Kibera, but we came to Kibera from Rarieda, you know, a place called Yoma. So I came here when I was not yet 1 year old. So honestly, my eyes were open in the land of Kibera, right? So that's what I have lots of memory. That's what I see as a home.
That's your home.
Yeah, that's my place.
Yes, and when you talk about your story is a very complicated story.
Yeah.
Complicated also, but also a story of inspiration.
Yes.
Because,
thank you.
Yeah, you turned that story into what it is today, and you never wish any child to go through what you went through, and
yes,
that's why you do the things that you do.
Yes.
So your mother gave birth to you when
she was only 15 years old.
She was very young.
Yes. And that was really tough. And normally people come with their heads, right? So mine was interesting. So if I hear my story, I'm like, wow, this trouble started because I came with the legs, and one leg did not want to come out, and it was a big fight, right, to make me come out. And it's as if I sense the world is full of struggle and and I'm gonna go through a lot in life. So, but with no doctor, I was able to come out. So I think from the beginning, I have really gone through a lot. Yeah. So honestly, I had to have what I call you have to have hope sometimes, you know, because everything is looking dark and tough in your life. So you either sit there, I'm from a poor family, I have no hope, or you have to stand up and start moving on. Yeah.
And it is actually that kind of birth, a birth that also informs how you are given the names.
Yes, Kennedy, yes.
Yeah. The name Khaenga O'okwemba.
Yes.
So let's go step by step. So why were you called Kennedy?
So so I think that was called after, you remember J.F. Kennedy, the American president. The name was really popular as a connection to Africa. And then when I was born, there was rain, right? So despite all those challenges, you can tell there's re-rained in our area, and the elders, they all decided to give me that name. Yeah.
Odede.
Oh yes.
Odede.
Yes.
But I'm also told that Odede means when you are born during the locusts.
Yeah, which means what? That's a blessing, right?
And you have another name that you don't use, Awiti. Yes.
Oh, I don't use much. It's there. Yes. Yes.
Again, it has a meaning.
Yeah, which means somebody who has been thrown away a little bit, right? In our in Luo culture, you can find that. Yes. So kids, yeah. So in some ways, you can be traditionally you can be thrown and then taken back again to make the evil spirits to go away. And when I'm going to dip into it, right? Yes. So that's what Owiti mean. Nyathimo Owiti. You get it? So you confuse the spirits. Culture.
It's very now. So your mother gave birth to you when she was that young, and then from there you moved from Nyanza.
No, so that
is Siaya County.
Yes. So what happened is that this is very interesting, and for people to know. So what happened is still happen up to now. So when you live in the village and you hear the story of Nairobi City, KICC, I think that was something that was really powerful. Those who have come to Nairobi for when they were young, you see that and you think this is life. Yeah. So they moved to the city looking for what? For job, right? Because Nairobi look like Nairobi. It's a beautiful name, Nairobi City, right? And then it's kind of hidden. And honestly, it's very interesting because now that I live this another life, you cannot know there's Kibera. You go to Java, you go to KCC, you go to Urupak. I think things are hidden, right? And then yet it is the machinery that is running the city. Are we together? Is Madari, is Kawangware, is Korokocho, but it's hidden. So when you hear people in Nairobi, you think, so they came, the way it happened that then you get to there, you have to find a community member who, you don't just move like that. Somebody who live in Nairobi before you, like, naenda uko Nairobi, even not Kibera, Nairobi. Then you find yourself into the reality, like, wow, here there's nothing to farm. You live next to the sewage, and that's the life that I start inheriting, right? You know, and that tough life. And you have to say, even, I remember, now things are better. I remember people used to live in nylons. Yeah. A bit of change, my friend. Yeah. Even I went to see some of my cousins in Korokocho, and I remember they were living in boxes, right? So things happened. So we were coming to, I call it, it's also, honestly, there's a word for it. I think it's a climate refugee. Why do you want to leave your village? Because drought. Are we together? So you can't plant anymore. Things. So I think before people could feel climate change, they didn't know what to do with it. So people are now moving. And if you see people who come to Kibera, honestly, and Madare, you find their history, they could be doing farming, man. Things are not working, so they're looking for opportunities. Yet, for me, is a village. It looks, it's like a glass, it's like a mirror. You think there's something in Nairobi, you go to Nairobi,
there's nothing.
My friend, that's why my life chapter started now. Now in this Kibera place, right? My family very poor, right? And then I have to start surviving. You know, you can't go to school, you guys are so poor, and then you will end up finding other ways of surviving. Yes, which happened to any kid. Also to add something of this, which is something that I have issues with. And I don't think, personally, that my story is great or amazing. I'll be honest with you. Okay? I see people, I would call their names, who have told us from this poverty, right? But I think what is different is a covenant I made, seriously, with my God, that can I be an instrument to bring change. I cannot go through all this life for Khaenga Odede to be rich, for Khaenga Odede to be famous. I'm like, no way. God, you have to use me so that my existence to be a blessing. As you told me, Mr. Kwamba, that you you admire the work SHOFCO has done, right? As, you know, yes. So I think you meet guests, people who are like, I was poor, you know, to be a politician. I could be a politician if I wanted, right? Keep in Kibera wanted him to be MP. Ask them up to now. You know my name, Mayor, right? I'm already a mayor of the city before, right? So for me, what really powerful for me, and I thank God for that, not to lose touch and know that my life has to give light to other people. Mm-hmm. That's what for me is unique. But otherwise, everybody tell you how much, I was poor, I went to school with those shoes, right? Right? So what? If your life cannot help other people, it's all about you and your family, I don't want to hear your story.
You don't hear that. But your story, Ken, is actually it's truly an amazing really? Story. Because I was actually coming to ask you this question.
Yeah.
You are here at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes.
And you're having this conversation on the Books Cafe on KBC English service. And you are speaking impeccable English. But when I read your memoir, you know, your schooling was also broken. Can you just very briefly touch on how you acquired the education?
That's interesting. So sometimes I struggle a little bit. So I really learned a lot of my work from the street. So I used to collect the newspapers, you know, and I think, I'm joking here, but it's serious. But I think there's something about the Luos and English, right? In the blood. So I used to love big languages, right? So I could go, and I remember somebody gave me a dictionary, a priest. I won't forget that. You know? So I could go, and then on the street, I could use those words I was reading, you know? I don't remember going through vowels, all those things. Someone just made it, right? So, but what does that mean, my brother? I think it means when you are hungry, you are looking for something. I didn't wait to be given, okay? Mm-hmm. And up to now, I don't believe that. You have to be given something. Mm-hmm. You have to fight for it. So I fought for my education. I fought for my reading on the street. I don't know if any people start telling me, even in Kibera, some of them who listen to this story will tell you that when Wazungu were coming to Kibera, become a teenager, who was speaking to them? Even the gangs in Kibera are like, ongea nao kizungu, ile kubwa kubwa zako. Right? So you can tell. So I really love it, right? And my friend, the books. Let me bring back again the book for me. Life was tough. So when I said enough is enough and I got tired of it, we all concerned like, I want to leave being alcoholism. I want to leave drugs. Wrong. No. As a person went through it. Mm-hmm. What is that make you be alcoholic? What is that make you always 24 hours to be on drugs? Figure that root cause. What was for me? For me was pain. The pain of my brother, the pain of knowing that you don't know where the next food will come from. The pain of knowing that a stray bullet can kill you anytime. That's happened to our life, right? The pain of knowing that you will be killed by mob justice. So what do now? You want to run away from the reality. Are you together? So you end up now intoxicated. You are into these drugs and you feel happy at that moment. Like, I forgot my poverty, I'm high, right? Because anytime you are now not high, the reality of life is facing you. So that's why people do those things. Then I got something. Reading, my friend. I read. Because reading a novel takes me away from poverty, from pain, and I'm in that land. In my head, man, Nina Soma, I am there. I'm like, wow, maybe I'm in New York. You know? So I'm reading about Marcus Garvey. I am there at that moment. So what happened to me? That took over. I believe in substituting. Okay? Change it. So instead of drugs, Kennedy, why can you take your books and just read and also get lost? Mm-hmm. By that, naongea kizungu kalikali, I am more empowered, I know what's happening, and even to meet my wife Jessica, it was not novel. I could have messed up. I'll tell you why. Because through the novel, I read Western culture. Okay? So I knew about Western culture. I knew about New York culture. Not TV, by reading novels. Fiction and non-fictions. So when you meet a woman in a Western world, and people do the same mistake, there, you don't say, I love you. Okay? If you say, I love you, you're weird. You don't know me. So I read this from the novel. So when I met Jessica, I knew, okay, I'm going to do this mistake. Maybe in Mesoma Bana, Hey, Jessica, I like you. I like how you, because in the Western world, no rush. But in our culture, we have what's called jogi, eh? We have a feeling. I love you, madam. And it's true, you're not lying. You feel it. Okay? Western world, they struggle with their feelings. It has to be, look at you have to scientifically correct. Like, I know you for 6 months. Now I can date. I know. Where in our culture, we have the jogi, we have the instinct. And that's how we behave in our culture. In Africa, I meet a woman and you think hey, I love you, you know. So my background of reading really helped me a lot to understand the world, right? So books became my alcohol. Books became my drugs. And it really helped me a lot. When I'm feeling down, I look for now. Anybody I meet some friends in Kibera when they're doing tourism, whatever, I'm like, hey, send me a book. Yeah, and as you know, from my book and tell, I read about Dr. King, almost all the books that exist about Dr. King. I know everything about Dr. King. Nelson Mandela, I read everything. And my guy called Marcus Mosiah Garvey, even my son is called after him, is someone that really inspired me. He's a man also, what I love about him, like he never went to school. He's a man who fought for his education. He loved reading. And he was a good orator. Speaks so well. And I'm like, look at Garvey. You know? And then so what I did also in my life now, you do what is called no mentors. When you're poor, poverty for me is you are invisible. You are useless. You're not important. Okay? Even now, let's be honest, to get a mentor, who will come to mentor a street boy? Who will come to mentor a kid from Madari? Who will want to, no way. Look around our society. You mentor presidents, so and so. You hear all the time in funeral. I mentored your son. It's a lit game. But I won't say no. So me, in my mind, I start talking to Marcus Garvey. And I was a little bit crazy, I know. I start talking to Mandela. What will you do on this? Right? So I get so upset with these leaders, Rosa Parks, you can say in my book, So I started taking, like, I can't see them, but I'll be talking to them. Right? So and they became in a weird way, they became my mentor. I won't lie to you. I really get into that. I talk to Dr. King, but like this one-on-one in my head. Because I can't get a mentor. You are poor, okay? Yeah. So the message is that there is nothing to make you not make a progress in your life. There's no excuse.
You can always change.
You can always, and I believe you may not run, but always believe you can make a step and another step.
You can always squeeze some juice out of lemon.
Thank you. You cannot do that. Otherwise, you can keep on waiting and until the end of the world.
Great. So, before you got the scholarship to go to Wesleyan University in the States, you didn't have a proper formal education.
I didn't have, and then it was a challenge because I never even used much computer. So in the US, you have to type, okay? You have to, but at the same time, I saw myself as a tiger that has been locked, and you open the tiger door for freedom, my friend. This guy will go for anything, right? So for me, and then you have to in the US, what really helped me a lot, there's something they call professor time, the time to talk to the professor. I think they maybe do it in Kenya too, whereby from this time you go to the office. You know what, nobody was going. Well, me, I used to go. They're like office hours. I don't know the office hours for the professor. Nobody wanted to talk to them. So Kennedy Odede was there all the time. After a class, hey, professor, I didn't understand this more. So without knowing that, you end up getting more knowledge and learning, and becoming really using my street social life for my education, coming close to the professors, So that also really helped me a lot. And sorry, I didn't know the book, which is so fun. So I remember when I was now going to I typed this. It was a sociology class. I think I typed it. Took me time. I save it. And then the last day, I need to print it. Do you know? Even I had no idea how the printer works. But I got to the library very early in the morning. At 6, I was in the library. Nobody was there. At 7:30, people started getting in the library. And I'm like, how can this thing come out in that? For me, that was magic. How can this thing printing thing here come out there? So this guy walks in, and I'm like, hey, can you help me? And I asked, his name is Ezra. I won't forget him. I have to know we are friends with Ezra. So Ezra opened for me, printed my paper. You know what I did for Ezra? I stood up, I gave Ezra a big hug. For him, was like, holy cow, what is happening? Who's this guy, right? So Ezra started asking people like, I just did a printing and somebody, who's that guy? I just printed and he gave me a big hug. I said, thank you so much, you know. So that guy happened to be the what? To be the auditor of the university paper. For him, I wrote my story because of my hug. For him, he did something normal. For me, it was a big thing for me. He found out my story, like this guy came from Kibera. You don't know his story? This Kennedy. So that's how I also became known at the university. Yeah? So you can tell, and this is a mistake we are doing now in the society. People are scared of what they don't know. They want to pretend. For me, those who know me will tell you that. If I don't know, I don't know. Okay? And I think that's all part of my success with what I do. Because if I don't know anything, I don't want a fake life.
And with that, we come to the end of this first part of our conversation on the Books Cafe with Kennedy Odede. Don't miss the second part.
Street life. You understand about Chokora? Really? Oh, Chokora. You are with me, my friend? You are deep in Chokora life.
I was your host, Khaenga O'okwemba. It's goodbye for now.